Hello. Is this thing working? Tap, tap. It has been a minute since I have been live. And by a minute, I mean probably like a year and a half. And actually, I've never even done a live on Instagram before. I've only ever done them on Facebook. But hey, all about doing new things these days, which is convenient because we are living in a new paradigm here on planet Earth. So if you're on here, let me know and throw some emojis down below in the comments so I know what's happening, because I don't know what's happening. Except I do know what's happening, and I want to tell you what's happening. Yeah, because it's been a while, and I've had a lot of people ask me a lot of questions, like, are you still doing Reiki? Are you still doing energy healing? Are you still working with clients? If you don't know, I was helping spirit-centered creatives to start their businesses and to do the work they're here on this planet to do. And I have answers to all these questions, but yeah, I've been a bit dark. So I wanted to kind of talk about where I've been and what I've been doing and what I see happening and what's emerging, in the hopes that it might be resonant with you, or it might inspire you, or we can have a conversation about it and collaborate on co-creating this glorious new earth that is in the process of being brought through. So here I go. The reason I feel inspired is happy new moon in Libra. It is a glorious, glorious day, and I feel also like it was all the celestial forces were asking me to connect, and hopefully Mercury retrograde and that mosquito won't stop me. So happy new moon. I am in Connecticut. It is beautiful here, as you can see. And I just came off of teaching a Reiki and Art of Energy retreat, and it was so good to gather in person with emerging healers and like-spirited beings. It has been even longer since that has happened. And it was really, I just was psyched, I kind of forgot how much I love teaching and love being in that space and expanding together in communities. So, and a lot came through during that training that actually was even surprising to me. So it feels like time to share, and like new things are happening. There's actually something really exciting that's happening. So I'll let you know as soon as I'm done babbling about where I've been. Yeah. So basically, I haven't been talking about a lot of spiritual stuff lately, and it's been confusing people, because if you've known me for the past several years, that's kind of like all I was talking about, because it was like pilgrimage 24/7 spirit path healing, activate all the time, and I was on here a lot talking about it. And then I just kind of stopped, and I stopped actually pre-pandemic, because, well, when you can sense that there's some shifts going on, then it probably means that it's a good thing to honor those shifts and to really take some time to understand, like what's going on within your body and your mind, your heart and your spirit, before, flooding a platform with all kinds of nonsense, which is a little bit what I felt like was happening. Both from me and in general. It just felt like there was a lot of noise. There was a lot like being said. And, for me, I feel like it's really important that unless I'm like super 100% clear on, like what it is that I'm doing and saying and thinking and being, then the primary action is to get clear first, right? Instead of like flooding the airwaves. Let me know if you're here and if you resonate with that, because I do feel like a lot of people have been getting frustrated, like with these platforms and with, how we're meant to be and interact with them in this day and age. So yeah, so I just want to be really honest actually about what happened, which is when I was in Thailand, this is in the end of 2019, so this is the fall of 2019, so like 2 years ago. I was working with the elephants, as a lot of you know, and I was there doing healing work and working on a project to help liberate elephants that have been in captivity and used by people for economic gain. And so, I really thought, like as the healer and social activist that I am, that I was there to help them. And it turns out that I was there just as much to receive help as I was actually even doing anything. So those beautiful elephant beings, I know a lot of you too have connection with the elephants. So yeah, let me know. Like just share some elephant love in the comments if you're here. And those elephant beings basically like blasted a hole through to my soul and really created a lot of space there, and a lot of I had to acknowledge a lot of what I had been doing was very not in alignment with who I am and actually how I want this planet to be, which I think like for people that are even still listening to me at this point, you are most likely a person who was brought onto this planet for a reason. You came here for a very specific reason, and you came here to, help usher in whatever this world is that we're meant to live in and on and with. In harmony and balance and peace and wellness and all abundance and all of the good, amazing things that are totally possible, but haven't really been happening. And I know, pandemic has brought up a lot for people in exposing, the systems and the structures and the energies that are underneath that have been contributing to kind of exactly the opposite of the world that we want to see and the, beings that we want to be. And so I know it's been a reckoning for a lot of people. Let me know if you're one of them. I am one of them, which I found was really interesting, because I did feel like I was so clear on my spiritual path and everything was evolving and I was leading these pilgrimages and it was like all going the way that I wished that it would be going. That's where the elephants came in. And basically realized I had a huge ego reckoning in that, like what I was building, this has happened actually several times in my life, so it was easy to recognize this pattern. But what I was building was in alignment with basically what a lot of people are calling the old paradigm. Like a lot of people have said, like, we're in the age of Aquarius, if these things resonate to you, whatever the words are. For me, what's more kind of important is the essence of what we are facing and what we're in right now. And I had to face a lot of crap. A lot of darkness and a lot of shadow. So I have really been, since being with the elephants in 2019, in this very deep and cavernous cave. I guess a cave is cavernous, but I'm picturing one of those little, not little, like one of those caves that have all those different passageways, and all the passageways, like sprout off into other tunnels and then to other tunnels, and it's not all darkness, in there's some like amazing like stalactites and stalagmites and like crystals and beauty, but there's also danger and adventure. And so if you're wondering where I've been, that's where I've been, in that cave. And I mean, it's been really, really interesting in that cave. I have talked a little bit about decolonization because I feel like that's one of the major energies that's being purified right now. And also my shift into, ecological awareness and getting my permaculture design certificate and really working with restoring the earth wherever I am and working with the spirit of the land and regenerating really what we've been taking and extracting so much from, and starting to give back and work with and create environments that foster biodiversity is really important, because that's also part of what colonialization has done was like stripping that away. And now we know like the earth is, we know everything that's happening, right, with everything in the climate and everything in the economy and within the health. Like I don't think necessarily that I need to point out the obvious, but it's all crumbling. And so what I did is I let myself crumble with that. And so one of the things for me that was really important was reinventing the way that I was running my own business in my life, which had been very conventionally successful, like in terms of that. But yeah, that reckoning with the elephants really allowed a lot of stuff to, it's like they took their trunks and just like blew out all of these spaces that needed to be purified. And once I saw them, then I had to start living in realignment, with what I then knew was and is true about the ways that I had living that were not sustainable, right? The ways that I was doing business that are part of something that's actually harming the planet in terms of consumerism and capitalism and excess and all those things. So, that's why I've been quiet, because I've been doing a lot of my own healing work and I've been doing a lot of purification work. I've also been receiving a lot of amazing healing, and especially coming back and working with the earth and really working in depth with the mushrooms and the fungal allies has taught me so much. I'm gonna stop talking about myself, and I want to talk about what I've learned from all this, which is what I think is really helpful, because a part of that process has also really brought me back. So I feel like there's an equal amount of people that I know from recent times, which is probably like 5 or 6 years, in which I was like crazy, super intense on my spiritual path and journey, and also building a business around that, because we all need and deserve to be sustained by life in some way. But before that, there's a bunch of you that know me as the artist in New York City, or I was traveling around the world and doing art. And I think it was equally confusing when I stopped doing that and got on my spiritual path. At every one of these turns, I've lost a lot of friends. But for those of you that stuck with me, I'm probably in one of those confusing turns again, which is why I wanted to connect and just share about what I've been doing, because this whole path, and I feel like everything with the spiritual path, has also brought me full circle back around to creativity and to art making and to nature. And what's been interesting about that is now that I feel like they're all weaving together in this really interesting way, and also business. So I've been learning a lot of really interesting things about business, and this is how I always work, is subversively kind of using what's working in a guerrilla way in order to co-create the new paradigm. So yeah, let me know if you're tuning into this and if any parts of this are interesting, because I think that's why I also haven't been sharing, is I didn't really know what was either A, interesting, or B, helpful to people. And so if you ever resonate with anything I'm doing, will you let me know? Because, otherwise, like, sometimes I stop because I just don't know what's working. But the reason why I'm showing up today is because I do have clarity on one part of it, and I think I really want to share this because it is potentially really helpful that, for people that are born on this planet to usher in the new paradigm, right? To co-create the new earth, to, create a loving space for all beings. What we're doing is unconventional, right? Because that has not been the prevailing paradigm. So I think a lot of us are born, we're either born with, like skills or ways of perceiving the world that are different. And I know, like from my experience, like that was really hard growing up. So give me a shout if you experience that. Or just how we live our lives is like not how other people do it. And so we meet up with like all this resistance. And so it can be really hard. So what I basically want to say is that the answer to all those questions that I've been asked about what I've been doing is yes. I am still, teaching Reiki. I have still been working with my forever clients. I also have like a crap ton of new things that I'm doing, like growing mushrooms and making, herbal medicines and incorporating, natural medicines holistically into the healing work that I'm doing with people. I have also been making art again, which I kind of didn't do for a long time when I was on pilgrimage all the time. It was a little bit hard. But I've been making art and I've been trying new things, like things I've never done, like watercolor painting and drawing. And I highly encourage you. Here's like one tip right now to get through this. If you're feeling stuck or something, or you just, I don't know, go do something new that you haven't done before. Because basically what we're in right now is this period where the new is emerging. And so, like our ego cells, like it's like scary, right? That part of us that doesn't want change even though we do, or that like is afraid of new things even though ultimately we crave, newness. And yeah, so go do something new that's maybe not as intense, like drawing something, or going to a new place that you haven't been to before, if you can do that. Just do something new, because I have been finding that it's been a really interesting way to, you have to kind of solve problems in a sense when you do something new, right? You have to, you're in it. Like once you decide to do it, you're in it, and then you have to like you have to like engage in the newness, right? So I've been doing a lot of new stuff, and so I look forward to sharing that new stuff. But here's like the biggest takeaway that I have, if I have one, is that the future is multidimensional. We've been trying to shut that down, right? And make things like, if you look at agriculture, right, it's all about these like monocultures where you grow like one crop, like one gigantic field of corn. And then that actually is like destroying the natural ecosystem, because what the natural ecosystem craves and thrives on is biodiversity, right? It's been shut down in the ways that we have become, divisive, and like with racism as a thing that has been running through our consciousness all this time, right? That is like anti-diversity, right? But we know that actually like being together, working together, having equality and equanimity is actually what makes this planet better, and which will help all of us to thrive, right? That's about like increasing diversity. And so in the same way, this is where I see the future of business headed, is that for a long time, the prevailing thing was like niche down, like do one thing, like really specify. And while there's some level of truth in everything that's come before. Let's just say it that way. But fact of the matter is that we're all multi-dimensional beings. We're basically like star stuff that like came down, like from the cosmos. and incarnated into this physical being. And we've had that multidimensional nature kind of cultured and socialized out of us from like the second that we're born, right? We're like given a name, we're like told who we are, like where we live, right? Like, and then from there it just like expands into what we can do and what we cannot do and who we are and who we can't be. And fact of the matter is we're like rainbows. Really. And we are capable of so much, and it's really been like stripped away and dumbed down, and power, you know, like has been taken away from individuals to really like access those very deep levels of creativity and possibility and energy and the light, you know, that essentially we are, which comes into these embodied forms that we then try to like solidify, and then that light, you know, gets diminished. So what I have to say about that is that, you know, I am a person that was born loving everything, and I am now okay with that. It has taken me decades because everybody wanted me to do it a different way. But you know, there are so many different channels, and there are so many different ways, you know, there are so many different modes of expression, there are so many different ways to help. So even if you do one thing really well, there are like so many different ways to do that thing. And so when I mean that, that also means opening up channels to be able to receive energy and receive love and receive the money that you need, because right now we're in a shifting paradigm, and like things are going to be rapidly changing over the next few years, but we're in it now, right? So we need to, you know, hospice out what's coming through while still participating in it, and also, you know, be doulas to like what is actually being asked to be called through. And so being your multidimensional, starry, wild and free self is actually the thing that the world needs right now. And there are actual ways that are rooted in actually like, you know, what has come before to be able to do that in a way that sustains you. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing all the things. And what's been amazing, and that activation that happened in 2019 was basically, you know, I didn't want to participate anymore in the way that business was being done. And I didn't want to like have to buy into this culture that's constantly asking us to market ourselves, you know, and like do all this stuff we don't want to do in order to do the thing we want to do. Like, I think there's like a total block in there, which is that, and this is what I've been practicing, is actually I set the intention that no, I want to be me. Like, I want to be, I don't want to have to like earn off of, you know, like what I'm doing. I don't want to have to do certain things that aren't in alignment in order to be who I am. Like, I want to be, and I want to live out of the fullness of that being, and out of the fullness of that being I deserve, and I am supported, and I am abundant in every turn. So I decided this, and then I had to spend years practicing being that being that allows it to come through in mysterious and amazing ways. So it's true that it can happen, but I think we're at a place now where we need to set some new intentions for how we want our lives to be, because I realized like that by participating in that other way, I was actually contributing to the very things that I see about the world that I know are damaging and that are causing a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. And so, yeah, like I am ready now to share the ways that that's happened, and I'm super excited because I'm opening space back up to work with a small group of people that are, you know, like ready to do what they came on this planet to do, to start their business, which actually looks exactly like what they want it to look like, and not what the prevailing paradigm and culture is saying it has to look like in order to be successful. And business is just another word really for being you, and receiving money for being you. Yeah, so it's building off of all the work that I have been doing in the past several years with my clients, but I'm basically doing version 3.0 slash like 20 million.0, because we are now like light years from where it was before. So I'm excited to share that. So if that's something you're interested in, write yay in the comments below this video, and so I can keep you posted, because I'm opening up that channel soon, and I'm really excited to share, like, you know, to go over, you know, like what we've already done that was like, there's like some really critical things that I feel like people miss on the way to doing this, so that's in there. And then also like the super sneaky guerrilla tactics, and unconventional ways to do things, so that it's, you know, like, so that you're doing just what you want to be doing. And mostly that means just being you, you know, in all of your glory, in all of your light, with your shadow fully integrated. Yeah, and just being you at your truest essence, because ultimately that's what I realized, is that is really what changes the world. And so, you know, if anyone wants to know what I've been doing, I've been being, and it's been working. And I feel very happy. So I feel very happy to share some of that beingness with you today, and I hope that you're doing super well, or that, you know, you're being in your beingness, because sometimes doing super well means like being in those dark, twisty caverns, and so just know that I'm being there with you, and I love you so much. And if you listen this far, like super love. And all of the joy and all of the blessings to you. May you have a glorious, wonderful, multidimensional day. I love you. Bye. Now I don't know how to turn this off. Oh, this is fun.